Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. Iskcon Milton Yatra Ki Jai. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Bihari. Everybody. Jaya Gopi Janava Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Janava Jaya Jaya Gopi Janava Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Janava Jaya
Thank you.
Everybody. Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, everyone. Jai Nitya Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parigrajacharya Hasto Tarasata Shishimad is wine race. H.G.Bhaktiyoga Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Nitya Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parigrajacharya Hasto Tarasata Shishimad is divine grace. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Namachar Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai, Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Siyadvaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki jai, Shri Ganga Mai ki jai, Yamuna Mai ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Tulsi Devi ki jai, Shri Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Shri Navadvip Mayapur Dham ki jai, Shri Jagannath Puri Dham ki jai, Shri Shri Gaurnitai ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Kirchor Gopinath ki jai, Shri Jagannath Shri Baladev Shrimati Subhadra Maharani ki jai, Shri Panchatattva ki jai, Shri Panchatattva ki jai, Shri Panchatattva ki jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Vrishthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamani. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Bhaskatyadi Shatarini. Hare Krishna everyone. Welcome to today's program. So we thought we'll do something a little bit different today, since we're celebrating the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We thought we'll do a bhajan. Some of you might have heard this bhajan before, some of you might have not. So the bhajan was composed by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and is called Sachisuta Ashtakam. So if you want, and you want to follow along, you can pull it up on kksongs.org. Just type in Sachisuta Ashtakam and you'll find it. And maybe what I'll do is I'll sing the entire stanza, and then you just sing the last verse, which goes like this: Pranamami Shachi Sutta Gauravaram. Right? Pranamami Shachi Sutta Gauravaram. Okay, so everyone got that song up on their phones? So I'm going to start now. If someone wants to play kartals, I pass to the one. Nava Gauravaram, Nava Pushpasharam, Nava Bhavadharam, Nava Lasyaparam, Nava Hasyakaram, Nava Hemavaram, Pranamami Shachi Sutta Gauravaram, Pranamami Shachi Sutta Gauravaram, Pranamami Shachi Sutta Gauravaram, Nava Prema Yutam, Nava Nitya Shucham, Nava Vishakritam, Nava Prema Rasam, Nava Raja Vidam, Subha Premanayam, Pranamami Sachi Sutta Gauravaram, Pranamami Sachi Sutta Gauravaram, Pranamami Sachi Sutta Gauravaram, Hari Bhakti Param, Hari Namadharam, Karajapa Karam, Hari Nama Param, Nayani Satatam, Pranaya Sudharam, Pranamami Sachi Sutta Gauravaram, Pranamami Satatam Jatatam Bhavatapaharam, Pramagata Prayanukam Lokagatim, Navalihakaram, Jagatataparam, Pranamami Sachi Sutta Gauravaram, Pranamami Sachi Dija Bhakti Karam, Priya Charutaram, Nakanata Nakara Jaraja Kulam, Kulakamini Manasalasya-karam, Pranamami Sachi Sutta Gauravaram, Pranamami Sachi Sutta Gauravaram, Pranamami Sachi Sutta Gauravaram, Kadaka Madhuram Nijavati Bhuvavitanathyakaram Pranamami Sachi Sutta Gauravaram Pranamami Sachi Sutta Gauravaram Pranamami Sachi Sutta Gauravaram Pranamami Sachi Sutta O Yuga Dharma Yutam Punardanda Sutam Dharani Sachitam Bhava Bhavochitam Pranutanya Chitam Nijavasa Yutam Pranamami Sachi Sutta Gauravaram Pranamami Sachi Sutta Gauravaram Pranamami Sachi Sutta Pranamami Sachi Sutta Gauravaram Arunam Nayanam Charanam Masanam Made Saktitam Sakananantaram Murute Sivratam Jagata Jivanam Pranamami Sachi Sutta Gauravaram Pranamami Sachi Sutta Gauravaram Pranamami Sachi Sutta Gauravaram Pranamami Sachi Sutta Gauravaram Pranamami Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. So now I'll read the translation for that song. It's a beautiful song composed in Sanskrit. Once again, it was composed by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who's one of the associates of Mahaprabhu. His complexion is the hue of fresh cream tinged with kumkum. Kumkum is sendur. He is the ever-fresh Cupid who shoots arrows of newly blossomed flowers. He bears newer and newer modes of emotional ecstasies. He is fond of performing novel dances. He makes ever new jokes that causes much laughter. His brilliant luster is like fresh cast gold. And now that last shloka that everyone sang, or the last verse, Namamami Shachi Sutta Gauravaram. I bow down to Gaura, the beautiful son of Mother Shachi. He is endowed with ever-fresh love of Godhead. His radiant luster is like the color of fresh butter. His fresh attire is arranged in ever-new fashions. He relishes ever-new mellows of love for Krishna. He shines in ninefold new ways, while executing the ninefold processes of devotion. He is permeated with a most auspicious, loving nature. I bow down to Gaura, the beautiful son of Mother Shachi. He is absorbed in devotion of Sri Hari. He maintains the chanting of the names of Hari. While chanting, he counts the holy names on his fingers of his hands, just like we do every morning when we chant. He is addicted to the name of Hari. He always has tears of love welling in his eyes. I bow down to Gaura, the beautiful son of Mother Shachi. He is always removing the suffering of material existence for mankind. He is the goal of life for persons who are dedicated to their supreme interest. He inspires men to become like bumblebees, eager for the honey of Krishna Prem. He removes the burning fever of the material world. I bow down to Gaura, the beautiful son of Mother Shachi. He motivates pure devotion unto himself. He is most attractive to his beloved servitors. By his dramatic dancing, he exhibits the characteristics of the king of paramours. He causes the minds of beautiful young village women to dance. I bow down to Gaura, the beautiful son of Mother Shachi. He plays kartals as his throat emits sweet, melodious sounds, and the vibrant notes of the veena are softly played. He thus inspires the devotees to perform dramatic dancing that is infused with aspects of his own devotional service. I bow down to Gaura, the beautiful son of Mother Shachi. He is accompanied by the Sankirtan movement, which is the religious practice of the age of Kali. He is the son of Nanda Maharaj, come again. He is the extraordinarily brilliant ornament of the earth. His preaching mood is suitably adapted to the cycle of birth and death. His consciousness is fixed in meditation on his own form of Krishna. He is always accompanied by his transcendental abode. I bow down to Gaura, the beautiful son of Mother Shachi. His eyes, the soles of his feet, and his clothing are reddish like the color that heralds the rising sun. As he utters his own names, his voice falters. He awakens sweet flavor for life throughout the universe. I bow down to Gaura, the beautiful son of Mother Shachi. Hare Krishna. So this is just so that we can meditate a little on Gauranga Mahaprabhu and the purpose of him coming here. And the purpose, what is the purpose of Gauranga Mahaprabhu coming here? Does anyone know? Why did Gauranga Mahaprabhu appear?
Giving love of God.
Sorry? Translation?
Remove the distress of living beings.
What else? Sati Prabhu, you had one?
Yeah, giving love of God.
Yes.
The love of God.
What else? Children? I can't hear you.
To see how it was to be in Radharani's position.
To see what?
To see how it was to be in Radharani's position.
Radharani's position, yes, yes, yes. What, anything else? Anyone else?
To spread Krishna consciousness.
Yes. Okay, one. Oh, that's yours too? Okay. Anything else?
Liberate us. Liberate us.
To liberate us, yes. Anything else?
Sweetness, Srimati Radharani experience.
Yes. Anything else?
To show his own devotees like how to be a devotee and how to
The Hare
take the love.
Krishna Maha Mantra.
Yes. Anything else? Any other reasons why Mahaprabhu came?
For his devotees.
Yes. Yes.
You want to liberate very fallen soul.
Yes. Something Srila Prabhupada helped him do? Elaborate a little more.
Movement.
Yeah, elaborate a little more on that.
He started the Hare Krishna movement
Elaborate a little more.
with the Hare Krishna mantra, which is the
Kaliyug Dharma,
Dharma.
Gunananda Sutam.
Elaborate a little more.
Liberate most fallen soul.
So he
A
came,
little bit more deeper.
he came to re-establish the Yug Dharma for this age.
Yes.
Ram Sankirtan.
A little deeper. What did he have his associates do in Navadvip?
Chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra.
How?
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Yes. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. How did he have them do it? There's a method used.
With the Murdanga and
Sankirtan.
What is that called?
Nama Sankirtan.
Sankirtan.
Nagar Kirtan. Okay, what else? So a little bit deeper. So he came. Did someone have their hand?
To give the treasure of Golok.
Yes, yes. A little deeper. A little more nuanced. So he came to spread this message to every town and village. And so Srila Prabhupada helped him to do that by spreading this message prior to 1966. The message was only within the continent of India. But Srila Prabhupada, on the order of his guru, came to the West to spread this message to every town and village. And within 11 short years, Srila Prabhupada was able to spread this message on every continent. Recently we saw someone posted a picture of devotees doing book distribution in the South Pole, right? So every continent, this Sankirtan movement was spread with the help of all of the acharyas in this line. The line, this parampara that we follow. So I just want to say a little bit about Mahaprabhu. Some of the children, they did a wonderful job. So we have to congratulate them. They did such a fantastic job. We love the costumes. They were in costume. Unfortunately, some of them are out of costume now, but they should have kept those costumes on. But they were in costume, so this was very nice. And they very beautifully presented some of Mahaprabhu's early pastimes. So those early pastimes that they enacted here, Mahaprabhu enacted these pastimes before he attained the age of 5 years old. So as we know, Mahaprabhu appeared. Where did Mahaprabhu appear? Navadvip. Where is Navadvip today?
Mayapur.
Where is that?
Calcutta.
In India.
Where in India?
Calcutta.
Yes, West Bengal. So does anyone know which day Mahaprabhu appeared?
He appeared in H.G.Bhaktiyoga.
No. We just said he appeared in Mayapur.
On the day of Falgun.
So which day did he?
Falgun Purnima.
Yes, Falgun Purnima. So this month, according to Sanskrit names of the month, this month is called Falgun. So he appeared on Falgun Purnima. Does anyone know on the Gregorian calendar, the English calendar, what date that was?
Day before yesterday.
Smart. No, what date? Sorry? Yes, 18 February. In what year?
1486.
Yes, 1486. So we have some very smart thinkers here. Yes. So Mahaprabhu was known for his nyaya. Nyaya means his logical thinking. So when I asked that question earlier, we got some logical thinking. It was day before yesterday. So yes, Mahaprabhu appeared on, and for Gaudiya Vaishnavas, what is that day? What do we consider that day to be? Yes. Who said that? Give him a gold star. Yes, New Year. One plate of Mahaprasadam. Or maybe some Charnamrita. So that's our New Year. So Happy New Year to everyone. Happy New Year. So yes. So on Falgun Purnima, that we call Gaur Purnima, because Gauranga Mahaprabhu appeared on that day. That is our New Year day. So can we if you want to talk, we have another floor below that you can go and have your conversations there. So because some other devotees might like to hear what's being said. I know I have a loud voice, but still sometimes we can't hear. So please, I offer you my obeisances. Please, I don't mean to offend anyone, but let's be a little mindful of others. So so Mahaprabhu appeared in
on February 18, 1486, on Purnima. And what was happening actually on that day? Yes, it was a lunar eclipse. So, for those of us who might wonder, Jai Shishi Gorditai Ki Jai, Mahaprabhu Ki Jai, Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai, Shri Advaita Acharya Gadadhar Pandit Srivat Ki Jai. So yes, Mahaprabhu appeared on Falgun Purnima or Gaura Purnima, and it was an eclipse on that day. And so generally, on an eclipse, a solar or a lunar eclipse, devotees of the Lord engage in Krishna Kirtan to pass that time. And the reason being is in a previous incarnation that the Lord took, or several incarnations happened at the same time. So there was once a time when the Asuras and the Devas were looking for the nectar of immortality. And so they churned the ocean to get the nectar of immortality. And when finally, I won't tell the entire Leela, the entire story, but finally when the nectar came up, Lord, there's a form of the Lord that brought the nectar up from the depths of the ocean. Does anyone know his name? What was the name of the form of the Lord he brought? And we see there's a famous picture of him with Dhanvantari. Yes, so Lord Dhanvantari. And what is he known as, Lord Dhanvantari? The Lord of what? Medicine, yes. So Lord Dhanvantari brought this nectar in his little goblet to the shore, and it was snatched by who? Yes, the Asura snatched it, and they were going to drink. They were going to serve it out to all of the other Asura, their big Asura friends in the line. And then the Lord did something really fantastic. And what did the Lord do when he saw this about to happen? Yes, Mohini Avatar, he took the form of the most beautiful woman in the entire creation. In fact, she was so beautiful that she captivated the hearts of the Asuras. And by the time she appeared on the scene, two Asuras had already took a little drink of the nectar. And anyone know what their names were?
Rahu and Ketu.
Yes, Rahu and Ketu. And they were discovered by who? Who discovered them stealing the nectar? Yes, Surya and Chandra Devs. So these two Devtas, Surya Dev and Chandra Dev, saw, and they reported them to who? Mohini Murti, who was the Lord in the form of Mohini, who was serving the nectar to Rahu and Ketu. So what happened when they were found out? Does anyone know?
Cut their neck.
Yes. So the Lord invoked his Sudarshan Chakra and immediately cut their heads off. So now what had happened is the nectar had already gotten to this point. And so the heads remain immortal and the bodies not. So since then, because they were reported by Surya Dev and Chandra Dev, every once in a while, Rahu, specifically Rahu, to take spite or to take revenge, tries to swallow the earth, the sun or the moon. But unfortunately for him, because he doesn't have a body, the moon or the sun, whenever they swallow, they pass out through the neck, which cannot go any further, and they reappear as brilliant as ever in the sky. So on the appearance day of Mahaprabhu, the moon was being eclipsed by Rahu, and so good devotees of the Lord will generally chant the holy names of the Lord, because his devotee his devotees Surya Dev and Chandra Dev, or in this case Chandra Dev, was in distress, and so the chanting is meant to help them so that they can pass through this difficult period. So at the time of Mahaprabhu appeared right as the moon was rising on the eastern horizon, and all the devotees of the Lord were standing in the Bhagilati. So there's one stream of the Ganga that passes in front of Mayapur, and that river is called Bhagirati. And does anyone know why it's called Bhagirati and not Ganga? Not you. Does anyone know why is that stream called Bhagirati and not Ganga? So the reason being is, and again this is a long story, I won't tell that story now. Everybody, how many have Srimad Bhagavatam at home? Okay, put your hands down now. How many have been, put your hands down. Okay, how many have been reading Srimad Bhagavatam at home? Okay, so we have some work to do. How many have Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita at home? Okay, and how many are reading it? So yes, please, especially on days, okay, if you're reading Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam and you're not getting a chance to read Chaitanya Charitamrita, please read it on days such as Gaura Purnima or Natyananda Trayodashi, etc. So in the Bhagavatam, it tells the story of how Ganga came to earth. So she was coming for what purpose? Anyone know? Why was Ganga Devi coming to earth? So she was coming because some princes had been burned to ashes, and her water was required to sanctify their ashes so that they will have a better destination. So 3 generations of kings tried to bring Ganga Devi to earth. Finally, Maharaj Bhagirath was able to bring her, and so he drove his chariot and she followed him. And it started at the top of the Himalayas, where who is sitting?
Lord Shiva.
And so Lord Shiva is sitting there, and he accepts Ganga Devi on his head, and then the water of Ganga flows down and ends up in the Bay of Bengal, which is called Ganga what? Ganga Sagar. So this is where the Ganga meets the ocean. So So Ganga came, followed Maharaj Bhagirath in his chariot, and so that stream of the Ganga passed in front of Mayapur, and this is where Mahaprabhu appeared, and that stream is called the Bhagilati. So all the devotees were standing in the waters of the Ganga, and they were offering, what is this called? Yes, they were offering oblations, and they were all, but at the very time that Mahaprabhu appeared, they all had their arms upraised, and what were they chanting?
Hari Hari.
Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! And so on the chanting of the name of the Lord appeared. So we saw earlier this drama of how the Lord appeared, who his father was, who his mother was, etc. So I will not dwell on that because you've just seen that. So Mahaprabhu appeared. He performed some leela, some little pastimes, just like Lord Krishna did when Lord Krishna appeared. And we saw a couple of the village ladies trying to comfort Gauranga Mahaprabhu when he was crying. And the only thing that could to stop him from crying is when they chanted the holy names of the Lord. So as long as the holy name was not chanting, the Lord kept on crying. But the minute they chanted the holy name, he stopped. And when they stopped, he started again. So right from his appearance time, the Lord was getting everyone to chant the names of the Lord, to chant the names of Lord Krishna. So as earlier there were many answers being shouted out. So yes, the Lord came to establish the chanting of the holy name, because in Kali Yuga, as his great devotee and Mahajan, Narad Muni said, Harira Nama, Harira Nama, Harira Nama Eva Kevalam, Talo Nastiyava, Nastiyava, Nastiyava Katiranyata. That in this age of Kali, the only way of deliverance is chanting the holy names of the Lord. So another small pastime that the Lord performed while as a baby. So his mother would bathe him and dress him very nicely in lots of wonderful jewelry. So 2 dacoits. Everyone know what a dacoit is? Dacoit? Is that only a Bengal thing, or is it all over India? They say dacoit.
It's called Dhaka in Bengali. Dhaka.
Yeah.
Dhaka.
Prabhupada used to say dacoit. So is that called the same all over India, or they're called gundas?
They are called Daku.
Daku, okay. So Prabhupada told us dacoits. So the dacoits, they came and they stole baby Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And they're carrying him away, just like who had stolen Krishna as a baby and was carrying him away. There was one demon. No, she didn't take him anywhere. Yeah, Trinavarta, the whirlwind demon. So these demons, they stole Mahaprabhu and they carried him away. But first, in order to lure him, what did they try to give him? Yes, they tried to give him sweets, because Mahaprabhu was very fond of sweets. So they gave him a sweet to lure him, and then they took him away. But Mahaprabhu used his Mohini Astra. So you know what the Mohini Astra is? It's a weapon that the Lord possessed. What does it do? What did Mohini Murti do when she took the nectar? What was she trying to do? Yes, captivate or lure the asuras. So Mahaprabhu used his Mohini Astra to allure the dacoits and made them thought that they were going in a direction they wanted to go, but actually he made them come back to his home. So when they realized that they took the wrong path and they end up back at the home of Jagannath Mishra, they immediately put down Mahaprabhu and ran away because they didn't want to be caught. So I mentioned Mahaprabhu liked sweets. So Mahaprabhu was fond of doing something that Krishna also did. What did Mahaprabhu do? One thing that Krishna did that Mahaprabhu also did as a little boy. Anyone know? No, he didn't steal any butter. You're making up stories. Yes, who said that? Yes, Sati Prabhu. He would eat clay, just like Krishna. When Krishna ate the clay, and the cowherd boys told Mother Yashoda, Krishna is eating clay. And then Mother Yashoda asked, Krishna, did you eat clay? And Krishna said, no. And she said, are you sure? But everybody is saying that you ate clay. And he said, no, I didn't eat any clay. And she said, open your mouth. And so when he opened his mouth, what did Mother Yashoda see?
The whole universe.
And what else did she see?
The whole creation.
And what else did she see?
Herself.
What was she doing?
Giving milk to Krishna.
No, you're making up stories. What else did she see? So she saw herself looking in Krishna's mouth. Right? So Mahaprabhu did the same thing. He would eat clay, and then his mother caught him and she says, "Why are you eating clay? Why don't you eat sweets?" And then Mahaprabhu said that the sweets comes from clay, ultimately. So Mother Yashoda had to convince him that clay was different than sweets. And so when Mother Yashoda convinced him, Mother Shachi convinced him, no one corrected me that I was saying Mother Yashoda. So Mother Shachi convinced him, then Mahaprabhu stopped eating clay. So later on, Mahaprabhu enacted many pastimes, and we saw the one with the offerings, etc. So when Mahaprabhu was about 8 years of age, he was sent off to Tola. Anyone know what Tola is?
No.
So Tola is school. It's like a Gurukul. So he was sent to Gurukul, and because Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he mastered the subject matter within a very short period of time. He mastered Sanskrit within a very short period of time. Anyone who tried to learn Sanskrit, it's not an easy language to learn, but Mahaprabhu aced it. His father, Jagannath Mishra, what was Jagannath Mishra's profession? Anyone know? Huh?
Toll. He was teaching
Yes.
that
So what is that called?
toll.
Okay, but what is it called? What is that profession called? So he was a Pandit, right? He is a Brahmin, so he's a Pandit. So Pandits usually have many, many books at home. There's so many Pandits sitting here, all the Pandits, and you have so many books at home, right? And we're reading all those books, especially Chaitanya Charitamrita. We're reading regularly. Yes, we are. Okay, so Mahaprabhu, his father Jagannath Mishra, had so many books at home explaining Nyaya. So Nyaya means what? I mentioned earlier. Logic. And what else? Shruti. Is it Shruti or Smrti? So oral stories is put down. Shruti. So Shruti and what? Nyaya, right? So he learned this, he was able to master this in no time. So at the time when Mahaprabhu appeared, the place, anybody ever been to Mayapur? Mayapur? Anyone been to Mayapur? Yes? We have Mayapur Basi here. Any other Mayapuris? So in Mayapur, to get to Navadvip, you have to cross the, what is that river I mentioned earlier? Bhagilati. So we have to cross the Bhagilati to get to Navadvip. So on the Mayapur side, what is that place called where you're leaving from?
River?
No, the place, that area. What is that place called? It's not called Mayapur. It's called something else. No, on this side.
Ghat.
Yeah, that Ghat. What is that area called?
Jalangi?
No, Jalangi is the other river. So, isn't it called Swarupganj? Or is that on the other side? Yeah, it's called, I can't think of the name now. So on this side you get on your boat and you go on the other side of the river. So if you go the Bhagirati side, you go to Navadvip. You go the Jalangi side, you go to Swarupganj. So Mahaprabhu used to go to school in Navadvip. His school was in Navadvip. So Navadvip at the time was considered to be an intellectual center in India, in Asia. Is the intellectual center. So many big kavis and philosophers, they would come to Navadvip to debate on a regular basis. So Mahaprabhu was known then as what? Anyone know what he was known as? Nimai Pandit. he was such an accomplished learner or student that he became a pandit himself at a very young age. So he had his own tola, he had his own school. And so big kavis would come to Navadvip to debate. They debate each other on philosophy, on Vedic philosophy. And so Mahaprabhu's glory is spread all over. And so people were coming. So there was one big, huge debater that was coming. Anyone know his name? Keshav Kashmiri. So Keshava Kashmiri his name is Keshav and he comes from Kashmir. So they call him Keshava Kashmiri. So he was coming and he was well known. He had defeated every argument that anyone could present. And so now all the Brahmins who were there, who considered themselves great debaters, they were afraid when they heard he was coming. So they put forward Nimai. They said, if you can defeat this boy, then we will debate you. Right? First you defeat this boy. Because we are such great debaters that even the little children are also great debaters. And if you can defeat this 8-year-old boy, then only then you will earn the right to debate us. But they were smart because they were afraid of him. They figure if Nimai gets defeated, they'll say, oh, he's only a little boy. You know. But if they defeated them, then they're finished. And all their income will dry up. Because they were making money from their debating sessions. This is how they earned their income. So if they cannot debate anymore because they were defeated, then they will go away. Their daily earning will be finished. And so they put forward Nimai Pandit, and Nimai Pandit completely defeated Keshava Kashmiri. To the point Keshava Kashmiri was, what was he? What was Keshava Kashmiri? What kind of a Pandit was he?
Digvijay.
Yes. He was a Digvijay, but also, was he a personalist or an impersonalist? Huh? He is a personalist. So when Mahaprabhu defeated him, he converted and he became what? A Vaishnava. And a great follower of Mahaprabhu. And when other impersonalists heard that the biggest Pandit or the biggest debater had fallen, then they all came and they surrendered to Mahaprabhu. And so from this Mahaprabhu was able to start establishing Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Right? So I see that the time is actually rolling by so quickly. So and I think we have another part of our program starting in 10 minutes. So I want to ask, is there any comments or questions or realizations? If you want to know more, there's so much more to know about Mahaprabhu. And all of you, many of you put up your hands that you have Chaitanya Charitamrita. So you can actually read Chaitanya Charitamrita and you can get the stories. We also, I think, have Chaitanya Bhagwat there.
No, only Chaitanya.
We have Teachings of Lord Chaitanya also there. So Teachings of Lord Chaitanya is only one volume, so it wouldn't scare you. Instead of looking at 17 volumes, which look a little scary, one volume is not very scary. So you can read and you can learn more about Mahaprabhu. Why Mahaprabhu came, what he did, how he did it, and what he proclaimed. Right? And what did he proclaim? What did Mahaprabhu proclaim that became a boon for all of us? Yes, that the Harinam Sankirtan will be spread to every town and village, and there will be 10,000 years of Satyug within Kali. So this is the special mercy of the Lord, that He came Himself. This is not an incarnation. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not an incarnation. There are many incarnations mentioned, Das Avatar, for example, 10 famous incarnations. And if you're reading Srimad Bhagavatam, you will see many more incarnations are mentioned in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, Mahaprabhu came, the Lord Himself came. He came combined, as we learned from the drama earlier. The Lord is combined incarnation of who? Combined incarnation of who? Yes, Lord Krishna and Srimati Radharani was a combined incarnation. And what color did the Lord have? Golden color. So the Lord accepted the golden color of Srimati Radharani, and He descended here to spread what? Two things Krishna said we should have, and He came to spread that. Krishna mentioned in Bhagavad Gita that we should have two, if we don't have anything else, we should have these two things. Krishna doesn't have this and He wants it. Two things.
Krishna Prema.
And love and devotion. Right? Prema Bhakti. Right? This is what Mahaprabhu was teaching. Prema Bhakti. Love with devotion.
And one more. Passion, like destroy the atheist.
Yes.
Prema Prachalan Pashan.
Yes. And to destroy atheistic thinking. We all have so many atheistic thinking. There's a beautiful song by Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Mama mana mandire raho nishi nishidin Krishna Murari Shri Krishna Murari Mana Mandir. So he says, I want to make my mind a mandir. Right? So we are trying to find a mandir right now. Right? So we should first make our mind a mandir. And who do we install in this mandir? Which form of the Lord? It's contained in this song. Krishna Murari, Shri Krishna Murari. So we want to install Murari. And why Murari? Why that particular form? Why no other form? Why only Murari? Anyone know?
Because He killed the Mura demons, is called Murari.
So who is Mura? Who is Mura? Anyone know? You know? No, we're not. Wow, we're trying not to be Mura, but our mind is Mura. But who is Mura? So that demon Mura. So now you have another lesson to learn. Find out about Ekadashi. And why Ekadashi Devi was that actually the form of the Lord known as Ekadashi Devi was the one that killed Mura. So Mura is sin personified. Every sin that you can think about is personified in this demon Mura. Every single sin, and even ones that you cannot conceive, they're all in the embodiment of Mura. So we want to install Murari. Murari is the form of Krishna that killed sin personified. So if we can if we can install Murari in our mind, then sin will be vanquished. Our mind will become clean, and we will forget about our miserly tendencies and our sinful thinking. This will all be eradicated. So Srila Prabhupada was very kind, and he came, he created a society that is called International Society for Krishna consciousness, because we want our mind, our consciousness, to be completely surcharged in the thought of Krishna. So you heard the saying, practice makes perfect. So if we practice thinking of Krishna whole day, then in the nighttime when we're sleeping, Krishna will be in our mind. Because we're always thinking. And what does Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita? He says, Smaran mukva kalevadam. Right? He says, Antakale chamamevam Smaran mukva kalevadam. Ya prayanti samadbhava yanti nasti yatra samshay. He said, if one thinks of me only, right? This is important. He said, if one thinks of me only, then he will come to my transcendental abode, O Arjun. And then in the next shloka he says, Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tvajate yante kalevadam tam tam evaishasi konteya saratat bhava bhavita. He says, and whatever else you think. So the Lord doesn't want us to forget. Right? He says, think of me only. And then in the next breath, he says, and whatever else you think of, that's what you'll attain. So the Lord is being very, very specific. Think of me only. So how can we think of Krishna only? By removing Mura from our mind. Because if Mura is dwelling there, then Krishna won't be there. Because we're only keeping somebody else there. Right? We're keeping Mura there. So if we want to think of Krishna, we have to remove Mura. And we have to install Murari. And when Murari gets installed, then we are perfected. Our life becomes perfect. So Srila Prabhupada's Guru Maharaj used to say, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, he said, if we want to go back home, back to Godhead, we must finish our business in this life. So what is our business? Our business is samsara, right? We've been doing this. 8,400,000 species there are, but we don't know how many of those cycles we've gone through. Right? We understand from scripture that there is two kinds of living entities. There are Nitya Siddhas and Nitya Baddhas. So Nitya Siddhas are eternally liberated. And Nitya Baddhas keep on coming. Right? They keep on coming. They start from the lowest form, work their way up to human form, and then if we don't perfect ourselves, if we don't remove Mura from our mind, and we don't install Murari, then we fall back down again. And again we keep coming up, and again we fall. And like this we go. Right? And we will never go back home, back to Godhead. The closest we get to going back home, back to Godhead, is when Lord Brahma dies. When Lord Brahma dies, what happens to us? Where do we go? We go back, yes. We go back in the womb, not belly. Krishna, Lord is so wonderful that even though he is male, he has a womb. So we return to the womb, and that's the closest we get. We don't get very far. We go and we're entrapped in the womb of Mahavishnu. And then when a new universe is created, when Mahavishnu exhales and new universes are created, then all these souls gets transferred into each universe based on our what?
Previous karma.
Yes, but what is that karma? The karma is our desires. Our desires are keeping us here. We have so many desires. I want this, I want that, I want the other. So many things we want that we can't even have, but yet we want. We're so greedy. Right? And this keeps us trapped in this material. Our greed keeps us trapped here. And as long as we don't learn how to get rid of this greed, we will never leave this place. We will keep coming back over and over and over again. Right? There is one movie that they used to show, I don't know if it's still showing, It's called, on February 2nd, it was that day, Groundhog Day. So Groundhog, there was a movie called Groundhog Day. And this guy, every day he will wake up and the previous day is repeated. And every morning he wake up, the previous day is repeated. And it's going on perpetually. So this is us. This is how we are all trapped in this material world, and it keeps repeating itself. And the only way we can stop this repetition is by installing Murari within our minds and remove the Mura demon. And only then can we know Krishna and never forget him. So we've heard this before, that the purpose of the Vedas is to know Krishna and to never forget him. Right? So Prabhupada called the society Krishna consciousness. This way we can know Krishna always. Our consciousness is surcharged in the thought of Krishna, and if we do that, we will never forget him. He will always be there, even when we're sleeping. Sleeping is a form of unconsciousness. Because if you're sleeping, somebody comes in the room, you don't know. 10 people can come in the room and you won't know, because you're slightly unconscious. So we want to keep our consciousness surcharged in the thought of Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada taught us that if we think about Krishna all day long, then we will dream about Krishna. And when we dream about Krishna, because Krishna's form is non-different than Krishna himself, then Krishna is present. We are having personal association with Krishna. Anyone ever dream about Krishna? You might not want to say. But if somebody have dreamt about Krishna, even if you dreamt you've come to the temple and you see the beautiful Vigraha of Lord Krishna, so that Vigraha is non-different than the Lord himself. This Vigraha is an incarnation of the Lord. This is one category. We hear of Purusha avatar, Shaktavesha avatar, Yuga avatar, so many different different categories. So one category is called Archavigraha, worshipable form. So the Lord kindly takes these forms and he gives us the opportunity to worship him. So when the curtain will drop in a minute and we see the beautiful forms of the Lord, this is the Lord himself standing there. So when we are before the Lord, we should put on our best behavior. We should honor, we should not think that this is just metal or marble or some other kind of material. We shouldn't think that way. If we think that way, it's actually aparadha. Right? So aparadha is apa-radha, apart from Radharani. Right? So this is an offense to think this way. So we should know, and we should honor him, and we should respect him, and we should not show any kind of disrespect. So Srila Prabhupada wrote many letters on the process of worshiping the Lord. And in one letter he said, "My dear Lord, I am inviting you to come and take residence in this temple. So if you so desire, because you exist within their hearts, show them how to worship you properly and not show disrespect." Right? So Prabhupada is begging the Lord, when he installed the Lord in the temple, he's begging him, please come and take residence. So if anyone has attended an installation ceremony, you will see the pujaris, they will take some akshat in their hand and they will put it, this side, where the Lord's heart is, and they recite some mantras. And what they're doing is they're transferring, because Paramatma is within our heart, they're transferring Paramatma into the body of the deity. And when Paramatma becomes transferred into this form, into this Archavigraha form, then he himself is standing. This is called Pran Pratishta, this process. So pran, we know pran means breathing. So pran pratishta is where the Lord is now taking breath, because he's now been officially called by his devotee to come and take residence within this deity form, and then he is ready to accept worship. So we should keep this in mind. We should not think that, oh, he is not here and this is just some statue or whatever one is thinking in their mind. This is actually an offense. So anyone has Nectar of Devotion at home? Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Are you reading it? So there are many rules. Prabhupada called this law book. Prabhupada called the Nectar of Devotion law book for devotees. So what does the law book do? It tells you what the law of the land is, what law you should follow. You ready? Ready? What law? Oh, I hear bell ringing all the time. I thought still offering is going on.
Offerings keep coming.
Huh?
Offerings keep coming.
Oh, I keep hearing the bell, so I thought the offering is still going on. Okay, so yes, so I'm going to end here. Please forgive me for going over so many minutes. Oh, now I know why Mataji came and stood. She was over there, and she came here. Luckily, she didn't have a stick with a hook on it, and she'd pull me off.
Can't even dare to dream into that.
So thank you very much. Thank you all for coming. We're so happy that you came. Please keep on coming. Please help us so that we can help you and we can help others who needs help, because we are trying to remove everybody's Mura from their mind, including our own Mura from in our minds, and we want to install Murari there. So please help us so that we can install Muraris in our own mind and also install Murari in everyone else's mind, so that they can finish their business in this life and they can go back to Vaikunta. So Prabhupada told us, Kunta means place of misery. Vaikunta means place of no misery. So we want to go to place of no misery. So please help us so that we can help others. Thank you very much. Hare Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Iskcon Milton Yatra ki jai. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thanks a lot. Hope we didn't have the constraint of time. You would have continued. Now is the time for Shikshashtika by Ashoka Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So we are going to recite Shikshashtakam. This is the prayer given by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. So those who know can recite along with me. Okay. Cheto darpanamarjanam bhavamaham Shriyayadavachandrikadanam vidyavadhujivanam Anandam bhuvivardhanam pradikalam purnamritasvadanam Sarvatma snapanam karam videte Shri Krishna sankirtanam Namna kai maudaya sarvashakti tatratikaya virasparnena kala Ita grishi tapika bhagavan mamami Doleram iti vishaya jani naruraka Narabi sanichena tarurva saishna Amami namami jenana kirtanya sadhari Naganam najanam nasundarim kavitam vajadishikamaye Mama janmani janmanishware Bhavata bhaktirahitaki tvai Ainanvatam yakinkaram Patitam mayushmam pramabhuto Kripya tava pad pankaja Sthitadurvi satrisham vichintaya Nayanam galanam sudhaya Vadanam karsadurudhaya gira Pulake michitam papukada Tavanam virne bhavishyati Yugaitam nimeshena chakshusha pravishaitam
शून्यायतं जगत्सर्वं गोविन्दाय रहे आश्लिष्यवपादर्तं विनष्टु माम् अदर्शनान्मद्भगं करोतु वा यथा तथा विदधातु लम्पटो मत्प्राणार्थास्तु हरेव नापरा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
श्री शिक्षाष्टकम की जय, महाप्रभु की जय, प्रभुपाद की जय।
Thank you, Shobha Krishna Prabhu. Now is the time for Aarti. I would request everyone to please stand up and put the chairs behind. The Aarti is going to be performed by Madhu Sangini Mataji, and we have Keshav Prabhu singing the Aarti for us.